Welcome back. There's some breaking news coming in. The Delhi High Court has refused to intervene in the nursery admissions in the capital. Remember, the court was hearing a petition by parents and the Education Department of Delhi, who said that the schools are free to form their own guidelines. Now, Upasna, our correspondent, joining us on the phone line with more. Upasna, we understand that the court declined to stay its earlier order, remember, which had quashed an order by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, which devised a points-based system for admissions.
Yes, Sanjana, a big relief to schools. Today, High Court refuses to intervene in the matter and asks the schools to start admissions based on the guidelines that the school decide. Last week, the Delhi government had challenged the order of High Court, wherein these schools were asked to start the admissions immediately under the guidelines of the Ganguly Committee, after which the Delhi government had challenged this order. But today, the double bench gives a big relief to schools and asks them to start the admissions immediately based on the guidelines that they decide. Last year, the admissions were done under the guidelines which were decided by the LG, which faced a lot of criticism from the school management as well as from the parents, because the school management were very upset that they had a few rights, such as taking admissions under the management quota and staff quota, which were removed from the LG guidelines but were there in the Ganguly guidelines. So now the next hearing would be on the 15th of January. Till then, the admissions of the schools will start based on the guidelines which schools decide, and very soon the schools will start putting up their guidelines on their websites, and the admission process will now finally start in Delhi for nursery admissions.
Right, Upasna, if you can actually just give us a timeline of this case, because considering earlier it was the Delhi government and the NGO, which I believe is social jurists, that filed appeals against the judge's order, which quashed the guidelines issued last year by the LG.
Last year, the guidelines were issued by the LG, but last week the High Court had said that they do not want to interfere in the matter of schools, because especially private schools, because as per the High Court, the government cannot decide the guidelines for private schools. They can only decide the guidelines for government schools. So it was then that the single bench had given the orders to the schools to start admissions under the guidelines that they want. But last week, the Delhi government and the LG had challenged this order, and they wanted the admissions to be done under the guidelines that were issued by the LG, because as per them, this would stop the monopoly and also the freedom of the schools, wherein there were a lot of cases reported where the school management could decide on whom do they want to take and whom they don't want to take. So now they wanted everything to be balanced, and that is the reason why LG wanted the admissions to be done under the guidelines of the Delhi government. But now it's a big relief to the schools, and soon the admissions will be starting in Delhi, based on the guidelines that schools decide. Now it's on each and every school individually that what guidelines they want, which includes how much kilometers they want to include, how much weightage do they want to give to siblings and to alumni, how much percentage of management quota is going to be there, how much percentage of staff quota is going to be there, is all now on the schools.
Upasna, thank you so much for bringing us that update. This development coming in as the High Court has in fact said that the schools are free to formulate their policy. Definitely a shot in the arm for these nursery schools.